All right, back page is enough about me. Papers going wild about Craig Lowndes, aren't they, and his big win at Bathurst. Daily Telegraph reads, solid as a Brock. Lowndes' victory moves him into equal third on the all-time list, just 3 victories behind, of course, his idol, Peter Brock. Courier Mail reads, one of the greats. Lowndes' win is his 6th at Bathurst. And the Herald Sun writes, 6-pack. This one again highlighting the Holden champion's 6th victory at Mount Panorama. He started at 15th on the grid and 6 hours and 16 minutes later had battled his way to the front for the big wing. And of course, he was a former Ford man, now he's a Holden man, but one thing, he's a dead set champion, and he's coming up on the Today Show. This is where we have all the superstars of sport.
That's true.
Well spotted, Tim Guild included.
Thanks a lot for that.
Morning, Tim.
Hello, Big Easy.
My shoulders are feeling a bit tight.
Oh, yeah.
Now, there's only one king of the mountain, we know that, of course, the late Peter Brock, but there is a crown prince, and his name is Craig Lowndes, and he's joining us this morning. The Holden champion took out the Bathurst 1000 for a 6th time, etching his name in the history books with a record 13th podium finish. And if you missed it, let's relive that special moment.
One of the legends of the sport creates a little bit of magic at the mountain and secures his 6th victory in the 1000. And Stephen Richards following in his dad's footsteps. Victory number 4 for Richo. Awesome stuff.
Beautiful, Craig, beautiful.
Craig Lowndes and co-driver Stephen Richards will join us live shortly on Today, so stick around for that.
He's done it again. Craig Lowndes has won his 6th Bathurst, only 3 victories away from equaling the great Peter Brock. Now, this guy is proving to be an absolute legend, both off the track and on, isn't he?
Oh, look, he is. I mean, look, Carl, I don't know about you. You're either a Ford or a Holden man in this country. You're a Holden man. Well, we've had 2 years of Ford dominance. Holden has won this year. I heard Craig Lowndes thanking both Holden and HSV last night. Question for you, though. Next year, I think, will be the last Bathurst when we've still got Holdens and Fords being made in Australia. What happens to the race after that? I mean, this homegrown rivalry, the Ford Falcon versus the Holden Commodore, comes grinding to a halt either next year or the year after. I think it's very sad.
Bathurst is bigger than any one car maker, though, isn't it?
Well, maybe it is. And look, at Bathurst in the old days, they used to have lots and lots of different sorts of cars racing around. You could have Jaguars and Minis and Nissans. But the last 20-odd years, it pretty much has been Holden versus Ford. And I like that. I like it a lot. But, I mean, it's going to end. And I just don't know what the fans will think about it when you don't see a homegrown Holden Commodore going around the track, or indeed a homegrown Ford Falcon.
We're going to have to get used to it.
Look, we will, Carl, we will. And my tip is this. I reckon the last generation of these Australian-made cars will become icons. They'll become collectible because they will become no more by 2017.
Right, and if you've got a spare $100,000 to buy one, put it in the garage for the next 20 years, we'll end up making $300,000 in 25 years' time.
Well, yes, exactly.
Anyway. It was a big weekend of sport, wasn't it? Craig Lowndes has won a 6th Bathurst 1000 title, holding off a frantic chasing pack in a dramatic race at Mount Panorama, and it was dramatic all weekend. Here's a recap.
One of the legends of the sport creates a little bit of magic at the mountain and secures his 6th victory in the 1000. And Stephen Richards following in his dad's footsteps. Victory number 4 for Richo. Awesome stuff.
Beautiful, Craig, beautiful.
One of the greatest prizes in Australian motorsport. He chalked up race win number 100 in this championship at Darwin. That's 101.
And that smile hasn't left the face, and they're not far from where it all began. In the pits at Bathurst, Craig Lowndes and co-driver Stephen Richards. Can we get a round of applause for the Bathurst winners? How are we, gentlemen?
Good morning, thank you.
Now,
Good
Craig,
morning. Yeah, look, it's great. The sun is now shining, so it's a perfect day.
Yeah, what a dramatic weekend. Craig, how sweet is that feeling, waking up as champion again this morning for a 6th time and joining the likes of Larry Perkins, Mark Scaife on that all-time honour book?
Yeah, look, it's fantastic, obviously, to have the trophy in front of us, and to do it with Richo was something special. Last year didn't go to plan. I sort of basically screwed up the last couple of laps, but really, look, this is the race. It's like the Melbourne Cup or a grand final, footy grand final. This is the one we want to win, and of course, when you team up with a teammate and a whole team, strategy plays a big part. You know, all day you sort of go forward, you go back, you go forward, you go back, and then eventually at the end of the day, hopefully you're right in the right place to get that checker flag, and we were yesterday.
Steve, how would you describe the team win all round? It was eventful, dramatic.
Oh, look, it was eventful. You know, throughout the course of the day, as Craig was saying, we were forwards and backwards a bit. But funnily enough, we sort of throughout practice during the week, we were trying to make the car handle well as a race car, and that's an important part when you've got a lot of fuel on board. And trying to make the car perform well under those conditions is really challenging. So we went a bit under the radar a little bit during the week, and then come race day, we were all firing.
It was a quirky few days at Bathurst, it really was, and thankfully from all those accidents, everyone's going to be okay. But Craig, what about Jamie Whincup? We're looking at a few of the pranks here, and there was plenty of mountain action there. But what about Jamie Whincup? That was weird what happened there, passing the safety car. What did you make of it, Craig?
Yeah, look, I think that I've heard some stories, and obviously as a team we'll obviously analyse that when we get back to home base in Brisbane. But look, it's a shame because we had two cars running really strong at the end of the day, which is what you wanted. So it's all those ifs and buts we always talk about. You know, potentially we could have had a 1-2, but look, you know, as I said, we'll analyse it, we'll look at it, see where the mistakes come from, and of course make sure we don't do it again. But it really is a credit. It's a team effort here, and you know, to have almost 6 hours or 6.5 hours of racing, to have that wet weather period come in, and it was something again, we were very lucky. Richo had just done his lap times. He got out of the car, I jumped in, it started to rain. We did, we weren't really flash in the wet weather, but then of course as it dried up, the car got better again, and away we went. So, you know, it's nice to be able to stand here talking to you with a trophy between us, and looking at it, there's only one little spare spot to put our names on before it starts to go down the side of the trophy. But yeah, look, it really is a fantastic result for all the team. Yeah,
it looks good right there in the middle. Now, your 13th podium finish, your 6th win. Some are saying the King of the Mountain. Now, how does that tag, or the new King of the Mountain rather, how does that tag sit with you, seeing that Brocky was your hero?
Oh, look, I think that look, this is a place that we all come in, we drive over the mountains, you see that white rock of Mount Panorama on the hill, and it always gives you goosebumps driving into the place. You know it's a special place, you know it's going to be a great event, you know the atmosphere is going to be huge, and you know, we love coming back here year in, year out, and we always want to win. Like, every driver comes here to win. So to be able to now stand in front of you and say that we've won it 6 times is quite incredible. I said last night, the Richo family has now got 11 between his dad and Steve, so we've got to keep chasing that.
Oh, good on you. Congratulations, Craig. Congratulations, Steve. It was an enormous win, and you keep enjoying it, boys.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Handy drink too the morning after Bathurst, I would have thought. Plenty of that came down this morning.
Good sponsor.
You know, great sponsor. Yeah.